Hello, hello, hello. This is Ayanna Mojica, Priestess of Power Wealth, and I am inspired to empower women to create a legacy of wealth, and especially women who are intuitive, empathic, shamans, goddesses, yoginis, and tantrikas, healers, ministers, artists, teachers, heart-centered businesswomen. It goes on and on, but you get the point. Women who are powerful in a very intuitive way and in the heart space, and here to help serve humanity. So today I'm going to be sharing on the dragon and how the dragon, or the dragon energy, or the dragons can assist and support us, we women, priestesses, as we create our legacy of wealth. And at first I wasn't going to share on the dragons because some people think that this is like bad. But there are many cultures who actually revere the dragons and dragon energy, especially in the Asian cultures. And they're part of the culture. And then of course we have on the other side, the swing, the Christian culture that believes that the dragon is demonic and not to be revered. And there was a time in history when, according to legend or according to beliefs, when there were many dragons. Dragons are elementals. Dragons are elementals. Fairies are elementals. You have different elementals. And so dragons are elementals. And there was a time when it became very popular to hunt down the dragons and kill them. And so the dragons actually went underground. They already were powerful magical creatures, and they went underground. And so you couldn't see them. They hide. You can't see them the way we used to see them. So that's why people think they're myths. I believe they're real, and I've actually seen dragons. I'm a seer, so I've actually seen dragons. So what inspired me to start sharing on the dragons is this. I don't know if you are a fan of the program on HBO called Game of Thrones. And I've never even really heard about it, but one day I received an email and there was mention of the Game of Thrones in the email. In fact, the email was from Carolyn Elliott. She's a blogger. And she's also very magical and powerful, and she has learned the key to creating wealth. So she sent this email, and in the email she's describing her life and how she got from being very broke and pretty messed up to where she is now, powerful and creating her empire, being a very witchy person. And in the email was a mention of, just a little clip of, I'm going to kind of glance to the side because this name is a little tricky, Daenerys Targaryen. She's the young woman heroine in the Game of Thrones. She's a young woman, and she's blonde, and she came from being a victim. So she was a victim of her brother. Her throne was taken. She was a victim, I believe it was her brother, her stepbrother, and so they were traveling around, and he would just brutalize her. She was young, innocent, and brutalized, and a victim. And then she goes through this transformation, and she becomes very powerful, and then she's on a mission. She becomes very powerful, and she becomes the mother of the dragons, and she receives 3 dragon eggs. And the dragon eggs hatch with her, and they start to grow and become her allies. When I saw this YouTube clip, and it is called Daenerys Gets an Army of Free Men, so look for that on YouTube, and I'll put that on the bottom here. I'll put the link there so you can look at it. When I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, all of a sudden, the fire rose up in me, because I've been working with dragons and dragon energies since 2009, actually 2010, and I mentor men to become white dragons. And so as I mentor the men to become white dragons, and I began to study dragons. I didn't even believe in dragons until then, but I was inspired by Mary Magdalene to call men forth as white dragons. white dragons who come alongside to support, to defend, to protect, to become allies, to co-create, to come in a place of supporting the feminine and supporting the greater mission. So I'm not going to go into that training at this time, but I want to bring out the point of the dragons. So the dragons, so here's my statue of the dragons. And I actually had more, and in my grief, because when my partner passed away in 2012, the end of 2012, he was a white dragon. He was the first man I initiated into the lineage of the white dragons. And he was really, truly a white dragon, and we had collected these statues of dragons, but when in my grief, when he transitioned, I actually sold some, and I wish I hadn't, because they were pretty potent. Now, this one's pretty heavy. And you can see that this dragon here has coins all around the base. There's coins, and there's a coin here. This is a Chinese dragon. And I just want to let you know that the dragon energy is here. The dragon energy is here, and the dragon energy represents so many different aspects of our lives. And what I want to say and focus on here is this. The dragon energy is here. The dragon energy supports the priestess, protects the priestess, and protects the energy, protects the gold, protects the wealth. And this dragon energy is fierce, and there are different families of dragons. We have different families of dragons, but the dragon energy is fierce, and the dragon energy is here to protect the feminine principle, to protect the priestess who's on the front line like myself, to protect the money, the wealth, and not only the wealth in the money and resources, but the wealth of the treasures, the spiritual treasures, the spiritual wealth. So there's been a lot of teachings that are very nuggets, and they're pure. And there's been a protection around these teachings because they don't want them to be distorted in any way. So the dragon energy is here, and I encourage you to, I encourage you and I welcome you to get familiar with the dragons. Invite the dragons. If the dragons are for you, they will show up in your dreams. They'll show up all around you. They will make themselves known. And they will only make themselves known to those who are serious and those who honor them and respect them. And so that's the dragons and the wealth. I just want to tell you one quick story with me, because I have seen them. I have literally seen the dragons, because I am a seer and I can see into other realms. And the dragon, at one time, I've got many instances where they've come to me and revealed themselves to me. One of them was this time when my partner was still alive. I received a spiritual attack. I received a very personal, close spiritual attack. And I was stunned. I was literally stunned and taken aback because of who it came from and how it came. And however, I was in my power and I didn't react, but my heart was really hurt. And so I didn't react, I didn't get triggered. And during the day, what I did was meditate. What's this about? I don't get it. I don't understand that, here's this person who's been so loyal, and now they're saying this, and it doesn't make sense. And as I went to lay down for that evening, I was laying down next to my beloved, and he fell asleep. And I went to lay down, and I was still wondering about this. I had checked in with the high wisdom beings. I had checked in with the masters and the beings of light to find out what was up. And all of a sudden, I felt coming up from me, from way down from my feet, all the way up my yoni, all the way up the chakras, literally coming out of my head, probably about 20 feet tall, a dragon, literally. And I'm not saying I was a dragon, but this energy, I could literally see this dragon come and begin to look around and with fire and vengeance in the eyes says, "Who would dare to come against the priestess of the Magdalene? Who would dare to come against?" And looking, who would dare? And at that moment, I knew that, first of all, I didn't have to do anything. Second of all, that I had an incredible ally who is watching over me and the mission and the money. And since that time, I am absolutely sure that these dragons are here to support us in the mission that we are in right now. Now, in this YouTube clip, what I loved about it is this. Here's this innocent girl. She's a victim. She's literally a victim. And how many of us women have been victims in our innocence? Our throne taken from us. We've been dethroned and our throne taken from us. What was rightfully ours taken from us. And then after it was taken from us, we have been subjugated by an evil, or subjugated by the patriarchy in a very sadistic way, in a very malicious way. How many of us have experienced that? To some degree or another, we all have. We all have. And in this clip that I'm encouraging you to watch, in this clip, she's already transformed. She's already transformed. So now she's this powerful young woman. She's gone through her initiations, and she's this powerful young woman, and she has allies. And guess what? The dragons are her allies, and she has two male allies who are seniors on her side, one on her right, one on her left, and she's determined to build an army of free men. So she's going to free these slaves and build an army of free men to recapture her rightful place, her rightful throne. And so she enters the city and has a dialogue with the master of that city, and his whole city is built on slaves, and they speak a different language, and there's an interpreter, and so she's negotiating. She said she wants to purchase some of the men, and there's this dialogue, and while there's this dialogue going on, he is insulting her in this other language. The translator is giving it to her in a softer, more diplomatic way. And I'm telling you, this is a very, very powerful image, because she gets a strategy. She has a strategy. She's wise. And at the end, she bargains. The climax is that she bargains with a dragon. She said, "I will give you a dragon for all your men, your whole army of slaves that are highly trained." And so the bargain's met, and it's agreed to. And she gives him the dragon. And then he gives her the whip, which represents the authority over all that entire army, a highly trained army. Now she has the whip, and he's trying to maneuver. He's trying to really get a hold of this dragon. This dragon is wild, and it's like, well, you got to be kidding me. You're giving me, it's a baby dragon. You're giving me to this man, to this evil, malicious man, and he can't handle the dragon. And now that she's got the whip of authority in her hand, she begins to see how much authority she has over this army of slaves. And when she realizes that she has that authority, she turns to him. And now he realizes that she does understand everything he said, all the insults. And she now has the authority in her hand. And he can't control the dragon. And then she gives the signal to the dragon. The dragon turns around, burns up that man, that evil person, and then she goes on and says to the army, "Who's going to follow me? You're free now. You're free now. If you're willing, come follow me." And now she has an entire army. She has her dragons. She has the authority. And she has set captives free. And that's what we are called to do, because I am inspired to empower women to create a legacy of wealth. Why? It's so that you can fund your dreams, so you can stop playing small, that you can step fully into your power and fund your dream, fund your army, so that there could be hundreds and thousands, a million people set free. That's what it's about. And then we can create the life that we want to create here on planet Earth. Now, if you liked what I just shared, if you were inspired by what I just shared, if you learned anything new by what I just shared, if you were motivated by what I just shared, I invite you to please like this YouTube. Please don't put a thumb down. That's bad karma, and the dragon might get you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say that, because I'm not going to say that, but don't put a thumb down. If you don't like it, just don't watch it. Subscribe and pass it on, because the more you do that, it encourages me, and then I put out more of these free YouTubes. Also, visit my site, www.ayannamojica.com, and on that site is a mini gift to you, sex magic to increase wealth. And there's also, go to my tabs, you'll see different ways that you can work with me, because I am seriously inspired. I am inspired to empower women to create a legacy of wealth, of sustainable wealth, and to do it magnificently, to do it luxuriously, and to do it powerfully. Thank you so much for watching. Blessings and blessings. And here is our dragon saying goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Ha ha ha. Ciao, baby. Ciao, baby.